Hey folks, this is ioEther and we're back with some more World Tanks. So as you can see, this is Ronnok in the M4 Sherman. This is a tier 5 game on South Coast, that's the one. So we have a 60% chance to win this, apparently. Okay, well, this should be a lot of fun. I'll switch into fixed camera mode so we can see what Ronnok is looking at. And okay, so apparently our T49 has somehow put the enemy T1 Heavy on his ban list. I'm gonna guess he means his ignore list, and we're gonna go from there. So even though this is like a 60% chance as far as XGM is concerned, Ronnok is still actually gonna have to put in quite a bit of work if he does want to win this, and opens up by spotting an enemy M4 running across an open field, and he puts a nice shot into the guy, doing a little bit of damage, and basically telling him, no, you can't move freely across the terrain with it being shot at. You go ahead, you try that again, see what happens. Come on, don't. So it looks like the guy, I'm gonna say he didn't stick his nose in, though if he pops up and has more damage on him than before, then we know that one of the several shots that went in his direction actually hit him. And he was silly enough to stick his nose out where it obviously didn't belong, and got a shot off for it. Now, one thing to note before we get into the real action is you can see that Ronnok is wearing the long gun for the M4. It's not the derp, though, which was, wow. The derp was popular back in the day when you could load gold, run up to some and blow them up with a gold derp round. Now he is switching to gold for a second because he's going to need to penetrate the front of a T1 Heavy, and he does want to make sure that round goes through. That's Matilda, equally hard to penetrate, but he has already switched back over to standard ammunition. Unfortunately, he does take a shot from the T1, so the T1 knows he's here, but he doesn't really care. He's going to advance on, ooh, never mind, he's not going to advance on the B1. The B1 is dead. He's going to advance on the Panzer IV-D over here and the M3 Lee, shooting into the weak spots on the front of the Panzer IV. It's really easy to do damage. His tank is angled enough that the return fire from the Panzer is not going to do a whole lot. He does want to take out the Panzer. The M3 Lee got killed by our T49, so that worked out fairly well, and now Ronnok's going to flip around and take care of the guys who are currently on his backside. It should be noted that we're currently winning, but I mean, it is a tier 5 game, so tanks will fall fast and furious. They don't exactly stand up to a whole lot at this tier. Ronnok is going to try and push his way up this hill. He's going to find out his tank can't quite do it, and he's going to need to back up and try this again from a different angle. Yeah, that might work. Yeah, there you go. He's trying to stay behind cover as he pushes up this hill. He does want to get into a spot where he can shoot at that T1 Heavy if it's still there, which he is. And he does have another gold round loaded for the T1. If the T1 decides to continue to stick his nose out, Ronnok's going to be able to shoot it off. But it looks like... Sorry guys. I will try and edit that out. I might forget. I am obviously sick, and all this talking is not helping my throat any. Looks like he's going to jump in on the ioEther. He's switched back to standard ammunition, and unfortunately doesn't get the killing blow as the T49 managed to snag that first. T49 is on a hot streak, doing really well. He's got 3 kills to Ronnok's 1. And well, more kills than, well, as much kills as the rest of our team put together. Lovely. Interesting. The M4 is down to only a hand or a couple hundred health, so he's gonna have to be really careful about where he moves. If Ronnok can put 2 shots into him, he can kill him. Now the likelihood is this T1 Heavy is still actually sitting here waiting. So Ronnok is moving up, and I don't know why he's aiming there. That particular spot he's aiming is a rock, and he's not going to be able to shoot anything through it. Miscalculation on Ronnok's part, it's fine. It will happen to anyone. M4 is less than 100 health now and moving away. Ronnok was hoping to get a shot on him as he ran in the corner before he hit that KV-1. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. M4 is probably going to get killed by the KV-1 as Ronnok takes a chance and slides down that hill. Now he's not going to go back towards the enemy. He's actually going to run and loop around this mountain. He doesn't want to give the enemy, free shots on the side of his tank. There's no reason to do that. You might as well get round to the back so you can get set up for base defense without giving the enemy free shots into him. The second benefit of this is the enemy doesn't know where he is. The enemy still thinks he's around the same area as that T-49, and they're going to expect him to be there. When it shows up that he's in a different location, it's going to be the element of surprise that he needs to take one or two of them out. And considering this is Ronnok, he's going to capitalize on that really, really well. Now, unfortunately, it looks like our KV-1 is about to die as he has 3 enemy tanks swarming him. And I think including that M4, yeah. And he also has, he's probably got a Panzer III shooting into the back of him. Yeah, KV-1 dies, but takes out the Matilda first, so that's good. The Matilda is definitely a hard tank to penetrate. Ronnok would have had some problems killing him. Okay, so Ronnok is backing off. He's trying to get into a spot where he is hulled down, so that the only thing they can shoot at is his turret, which is fairly well armored for, as all American turrets are, right? Excuse me. The M4 is now making threats against our team and talking about using gold rounds. Lovely. It was a 4-on-1 and they still needed some gold to take out our KV-1. Okay, well, yeah. T-49 and Ronnok are working well together, taking out this Panzer III first. Now going to focus on the Type T-34. And Ronnok gets the killing shot. Nice shot. Good kill steal right there. Ronnok and the T-49 are at equal in kills. And the fact that they're both sticking together is really the mark of excellent tanks. Good tank players will always stick together in a moment where the battle is uncertain. Even if the battle's even if you are like 9% certain the battle is going to be won, stick by your teammates, because if you get in trouble, they can help you out. T-49 has split off, and the two of them are, well, they got a mountain between the two of them, which unfortunately means T-49 is taking some fire, and now Ronnok is about to get shot by T-1 Heavy. T-1 misses. Ronnok has loaded his gold rounds to punch through the hard outer casing of the T-1 Heavy. Now it is going to take him at least 4 more rounds to kill the T-1, and he still has his gold round loaded, which is good because he's going to need them to penetrate the front of this Hector. T-49 is running away because the Electo has chased him off. Now the T-49 is on less than 100 health. This is the reason why he's running. The Electo can kill him if he lets it, and that would be just embarrassing. So Ronnok is trying to find a different position to get the same shots in, at the same time as he does not want to let anybody get behind him. The Electo is a really dangerous, fast Tier 4 TD. It can definitely get up behind Ronnok before he knows what hit him. And now, T-49 is split off from Ronnok and got himself killed. That's why you don't separate from your friendlies, even if you think the game is won. Now, fortunately, Ronnok's still firing gold. He's got to make these shots count, so I don't know why he's still zooming out before he fires. It's a bad habit he's gotten himself into, and he really does need to stop it. It's not helpful. It's not going to do him any good. Electo does not need gold to penetrate the Electro at any angle, but he will keep the gold loaded just in case the T-1 Heavy pops up, or the Matilda. Either one, he's going to need gold to penetrate the front of him, and he's firing these quick burst shots. Oh, he has switched back to the standard animation. That's good. I'm glad to see that. Electro is having a hard time penetrating him, though he is eventually doing damage. Okay, good. Now Electro is dead. Good. Now there's only Matilda and a T1 Heavy. Matilda's probably creeping up from the beach. It's going to take him some time. T1 Heavy is already here. Ronnok jumps over this hill, so he doesn't have the T1 Heavy be able to shoot at him for free. And now the Matilda is shooting at him. Okay. I would primarily take out the Matilda, but it's Ronnok's game. He knows these tanks much better than I do. And he's, yeah. And so he's backing back up into his old position. He wants somewhere that's more fortified than his current location, and he's backing up to get it. Oop, that was a weird glitch. T1 Heavy almost got hit in the back without being able to return any damage, and now he's going to. Backing up in a T1 Heavy is a silly idea when you're trying to take a shot, because of course you will give the enemy at least one free shot on you before you can get your gun in range. There we go. Now the T1 Heavy has smartened up. But again, Ronnok is using gold rounds to penetrate this guy, because he knows if he hits the T1 on the wrong angle, he will bounce off, and the T1 only needs one shot to kill Ronnok. Even the Matilda only needs a few shots to kill Ronnok, which is, considering the Matilda fires every couple seconds, not going to take very long to do. Ronnok is trying to figure out where the Matilda is exactly, because if he can take out the Matilda, he can circle the T1 Heavy to death and kill it very easily that way. However, if these guys both do a joint attack, then Ronnok's going to have some serious issues. T1 is lurking down here, and Ronnok's trying to bait him into firing. If he can bait this guy into firing, he knows he can pop out and dish out about 100 damage and before pulling back into cover before the T1 can reload. Now he's trying to trick the T1 into thinking he has moved. T1 most likely, though, is not going to do that. The Matilda is still constantly firing. And I personally, Ronnok, at this point in time, I'm just going to stop this for a sec. That bush right there, if you can come over this ridge from this direction, or even maybe from that direction, you can likely use this bush to spot the Matilda without being spotted in return, so you're going to have to be really careful at it. That's just a scout's point of view. I'm always looking for bushes to put between myself and where I know the enemy is in order to spot an enemy. Ronnok is not going to do that. I doubt he even considered it. It's just a little something for him to think about next time he's in this kind of position. Excuse me while I take a drink. And Ronnok is now trying to find the T1 Heavy, who's still in exactly the same location, and Ronnok assumed where he was going to be before he could actually see him, and almost squeezed the trigger before he knew the guy was actually there. At this point in time, the T1 was one shot from death, which he knows, and he is backing off, while Ronnok is going to again circle around and try and find this Matilda. Oh, looks like Ronnok is going to come down from his mountain now, and it looks like he's going to try and circle and kill the T1 before the T1 has realized that he's no longer up on top of the mountain. If he can do that, then he can take down the Matilda with ease, as the Matilda is a fairly stationary tank. Ooh yeah, nice shot on the T1 Heavy. T1 was probably still looking up the mountain and didn't realize that Ronnok had come down. Now again, with gold rounds loaded, he's going to go back up the mountain because the Matilda now thinks he is down on the bottom layer, and he is going to probably be looking for an attack down the J line, or the K line, sorry, whereas Ronnok is going to get up in this kind of position where he can spot the Matilda. Huh. Interesting. So that means the Matilda has moved. We have a minute before the... Oh, there's Matilda. Matilda actually did the smart thing. He came up to assist the T1 Heavy. Now, why Ronnok is aiming for the turret of this gun, I don't know. You should be aiming for the engine deck. There you go. putting easy shots through the engine deck of the Matilda. He can actually use standard animation for this, but he's going to continue using gold to make sure he wins. He was only got 40 seconds to make the last shot count. Booyah! Great game. It's almost 6,000 experience for this battle. This was Ronnok's first ace tanker in this tank. He had rebought the tank specifically to play and try and get his ace tanker in it. And first game out of the gate, he succeeds. High caliber and of course his top gun. He almost got a Radley Walters, but sadly couldn't get the kill on anyone else in order to secure that Radley Walters. He also almost got a Kolovanovs, except of course didn't quite happen. Oh well, that's fine too. Standing 4 against 1 is still a fairly impressive achievement. 1800 damage. Should also congratulate GI Jeff for his also 1800 damage. Between the two of them, they really carried this game. No one else did a significant chunk of damage on their team. And without these two working together at the start, this game would have definitely been a loss. I don't think even Ronnok can carry that hard. Enemy T1 Heavy deserves some props. He played a really great game. He unfortunately lost at the end there because he was being too predictable and not circling around and trying to find a better angle. He was waiting for Ronnok to come to him. Doing that cost him the game. Yep, a whole bunch of damage, almost 2,000 damage done. Enough damage, blocked by armor to save his life, and even some assisted damage. Good job, Ronnok. Yes, he lost a whole bunch of money on this game, but he got his ace tanker on this tank, which is the only reason he bought this tank back. So I'm sure in his mind that's completely worth. And if I scroll down, you can find the comment. It was 17k credits on a tier 5 match, but as long as I win, who cares, right? And that's exactly his thoughts. Besides the fact, 6,000 experience, that's worth 17k, right? I mean, even 30k, it's still worth it. And if you could trade 30k credits for 6,000 experience, I'm sure every single one of us would be trading that every chance we got. So thank you, Ronnok, for sending this in. Thank you so much for watching. And if you guys liked it, hit the like button. If you really enjoyed it, leave a comment. If you think you did something wrong, leave a comment. Tell us, right? And if you want to support me, my Patreon link is in the description below. Even at something as small as $1 a month, it really does help me out in substantial ways. Thank you so much. Have a great night. This ioEther out.